Welcome to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Main, awesome wife and dog mom for life. I'm a sex therapist turned sex coach, and I run a successful business selling relationship enhancement products. I absolutely love talking about all things sex. So you can expect this podcast to explore all things related to women's sexual health because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you discover and embrace what brings you pleasure so that you can own your sexual self. If that sounds good to you, then keep listening and let's fucking do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another delicious episode of Owning Your Sexual Self. Ooh, I am so pumped to talk to you about the Yoni Egg practice. I'm excited to share some of my personal experiences with my very own Yoni Egg, which I've purchased for the first time this year, and very excited to just share all the ins and outs of it with you. And before I jump into that, I need to give credit where credit is due. If you have not yet visited chakrubs.com, it's chakrubs.com. Chakrubs is where I've got all of my crystal devices, I should say. So I actually have their rose quartz dildo. I guess I'm going to call it a dildo. Technically, it doesn't vibrate or anything. Obviously, it's a rose quartz. How about my rose quartz wand? Maybe that's a better way to describe it. But this is where I got that from. And then, as I said more recently, this is also where I ordered my very own Yoni egg from. And I ended up going with clear quartz for my Yoni egg. And I'm so excited. So what I actually purchased from them, there is a Yoni bundle that they offer. So this came with my Yoni egg, and it also came with the Chakrubs Method Yoni eggs. It's a complete guide to starting or strengthening your practice with your Yoni egg. And this was the perfect addition to that purchase, because had I not had this little handbook that I'm using as my resource to record this podcast for you today, had I not had this little handbook to walk me through everything about my Yoni egg and really make sure that I was connecting deeply and correctly and intimately with it, I would just be lost, honestly. Kind of how I felt when I got my rose quartz wand. You know, I'm not really someone that is typically, I don't go for the internal toys. I'm more of a clitoral stimulation person. And, that wand is, it's a little bit cold. So it doesn't really feel that great once putting on the body. But then I learned, okay, I can actually warm this up under warm water. As I have recently became certified in crystals and chakras, I now know that even just having that rose quartz wand, just on my heart center, on my chest, or even near me as I'm doing my self-pleasure practices, I'm going to get benefits from that as well. And if you're unfamiliar what rose quartz is for, rose quartz is specifically for your hot heart chakra. And it is in combination with the Scorpio zodiac sign, which I'm not a Scorpio, but that's okay. But the element of the rose quartz is fire. The color of this energy is pink. And really the physical benefits of rose quartz is it softens your complexion. It promotes healthy hearts. It supports with postpartum depression as well. This can also, in your emotional and spiritual beliefs, brings feelings of love in any area of life that needs it, romantic, familiar, worldly, or friendship. And so when I was picking out my crystal wand for the very first time, one, I love the color pink, and two, I was like, okay, if I'm using this for my self-pleasure practice, this is what I'm doing for an extension of my own self-love. So of course I'm going to start with the rose quartz. And this was actually, now I think 2 years ago. This was even before I knew about chakras as intensely as I do now, or crystals even as I do now. And another resource that I'm using today to record this podcast, same thing from Chakrubs. They have a book called Crystal Healing and Sacred Pleasure. I'm so excited for this. I've had it now for a few months. I kind of just dig at it piece by piece, but it's actually written by the author, Vanessa Kuchia, I'm going to say is her last name. I might be saying that wrong, but she is the founder of Chakrubs. This book is just perfectly illustrated and lays out so much about sexuality and spirituality and really where the two connect. So, okay, I'm so I'm so excited for this, you guys. So, if you're unsure, if you've been listening to this and you're like, okay, what the hell is a yoni? The word yoni translates to womb or sacred temple in Sanskrit. Your yoni egg represents a new method for strengthening your womb connection and links you to ancient wisdom through a practice that has been passed down for millennia. Honor this history and know that you can tap into this erotic intelligence at any time. And this I'm reading straight out of my little handbook here again that I have mentioned to you. This is the handbook that came with my yoni egg. And on a spiritual level, a regular yoni egg practice can help you come into greater understanding of your inner workings, release shame and traumas stored in the womb, and restore emotional balance. On a physical level, your yoni egg can strengthen your pelvic floor muscles to alleviate menstrual symptoms, enhance sexual pleasure, to help you achieve orgasms more easily, recover from childbirth, and improve urinary incontinence. The shape of the egg is a universal symbol of new life and growth. It represents the source from which we have all emerged. It is a seed of manifestation from which anything can be born. As you meet your yoni egg for the first time, think about what it is hatching within you and acknowledge your being as the sacred temple that it is. Yes, you are the sacred temple. I need to take a drink of water because I'm already getting all amped up here. So I had heard about yoni eggs. I don't even know when. I mean, I've heard of the word yoni more so when I was doing my business coaching. Not even, I don't remember, maybe I'm incorrect, but even going through University of Michigan, the sex therapy accreditation that I did, I don't remember the word yoni coming up. I really do think it was more when I was doing the business coaching. And this is because this was really the first time that I was introduced to the more spiritual side of sexuality. You know, in my practice through the university, it was more like, here's how you talk to people, here's how you are, you know, you do therapy and counseling and start conversations and ask the questions and body language and all of that, which I'm definitely grateful for that time. But it wasn't until really my business coaching time, you know, I got into this work with Alexa to help strengthen my own business as a sex coach and as a sex therapist at the time. I wanted to expand my knowledge, but the personal growth that I got out of this experience was really not expected, honestly. So I had heard about a yoni egg, and actually when I started working with her, that's what it got me to actually purchase the rose quartz wand. But more recently, as I have been talking with more and more people about pelvic floor health and educating women around this, and working with one-on-one clients around menstrual cycles and, you know, manifestation and sex magic and all of these things, I thought, you know what, it's time. It is time for me to get my own yoni egg, and I'm on the listserv for Chakrubs. A text message came through. I swear this text message, I believe, came through on a new moon. And so I saw that as my opportunity to, you know, new moon, new beginnings, new manifestations. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hit up this discount. I'm going to get my little yoni egg, and I'm going to get this guide with it because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing with it. And I'm going to need some guidance. So one thing that you should know first is that when you go to order a yoni egg, it's going to ask you if you want it drilled or not drilled. This was very confusing to me at first. So drilled essentially means that there is going to be a very, very, very tiny hole drilled at the top, at the thinner part of the egg. And that is so that you can actually insert a string through the yoni egg. Now, I would recommend getting a drilled yoni egg if you are someone that is not used to doing pelvic floor practices. And if you are somebody that has a fear of, things getting stuck up in you, I cannot tell you how many times when I talk about Kegel balls or exercise balls at my pure romance parties, this comes up all the time. People are like, well, don't they get stuck up there? No, and also kind of yes. As your vaginal walls relax, that cervix actually moves back, or if we go through a state of arousal, that cervix is move back, your vaginal walls are going to expand. And so if you listen to my episode on the menstrual cups, when I went to take out my menstrual cup for the first time or clean it, I was like, where did it go? You couldn't feel around for that little string. I was like, oh my gosh, panic mode, of course. So kind of the same thing happens no matter what you really have inserted up there, right? It's going to just get deeper and deeper the more that you relax. So if this is a fearful thing for you, go ahead and get it drilled. The cool thing about it being drilled as well is that if you want to start with using the string, and then let's say you're like, no, I'm good, I'm chill, I don't need the string anymore, then just remove the string. And then you can still use the Yoni egg, even though it's drilled, without the string. But my first few times using this, I definitely did use it with the string. Again, even though I know through and through, I know my sex, I know my genitalia, I know how the body works. Still, I was like, I really don't want to end up in the ER for them to remove a crystal quartz Yoni egg, clear quartz Yoni egg from my vagina. So I'm still rocking the string for now, although I think I'm getting closer and closer at, upgrading, and not even upgrading. I shouldn't even say that. Just getting to that point where I don't need the string anymore. So the string, by the way, is pretty long. So when you first get your Yoni egg, you obviously want to clean it, but you also, what I would recommend doing is really doing some intentionality around this. What was the meaning behind you purchasing this egg? Why do you want this in your life? What even prompted your purchase in the first place? Why did you choose the crystal that you chose? And why now? What is going on at this point of your life that you decided, you know what? I'm gonna get this Yoni egg. Maybe it was this podcast. Maybe you're on your own sexual exploration journey. Maybe you are looking to merge sexuality and spirituality together and think that this is a good place for you to start, or the next step for you to have. You could also ask yourself, what were your initial thoughts upon seeing your egg for the first time? I remember thinking, oh my gosh, it's so much smaller than I anticipated. For whatever reason, I thought it was going to be about the shape of the palm of my hand, but it's actually about half of my palm of my hand. It's actually pretty tiny. It's pretty petite. And it is so smooth. That's another thing that I loved about it. It is so smooth. So when inserting it, I use a water-based lubricant. Before inserting it, I insert the water-based lubricant in my vagina, and then I slip the Yoni egg in. And I just love the texture of it. Now what I do, I learned from my crystal wand, I don't like the coldness really. So now I actually warm it under some warm water, not super hot water because you don't want your crystal to crack, but just some lukewarm water. And yeah, I'm excited for that because then it's just nice and warm going inside of you. And it's just like, it just feels nice. So you might want to ask yourself too, what was the energy of your Yoni egg? What were those feelings? What energy did you feel as you were taking it out of its package and unraveling it and unwrapping it and really just noticing that energy? Then going back to the intention piece of this, what do you hope to conceive with your Yoni egg? What is it that you're hoping to manifest or experience with the insertion of this egg? And then after your experience, I want to invite you to journal it out. What came up? Really asking yourself, what were the feelings around this? What, just again, spending some time really looking into the symbolization of this. Hey y'all, I am interrupting this episode really quick to come and tell you about my signature program, which is called Sexual Confidence Academy. If you follow me on social media, you've probably already heard me talking about this program, but I needed to come and share it here just in case you haven't heard about it. So Sexual Confidence Academy is a program that you get to do at your own pace. This is the journey through discovering the ins and the outs of your sexual confidence at your own pace, which is so beautiful. So this is going to take you through these things. You get to discover exactly how to unlock your sexual confidence and spark the arousal for you, grow through the challenges that you've been facing and start building and applying the tools to solve them. Uncover the confidence and tools needed to communicate your wants and needs inside and outside the bedroom, and develop an understanding and connection to your body and mind to create the sexual confidence that you've been craving. I have been running this program for over a year now. It is my absolute favorite. Here's what one of my clients, Brittany, said. Rachel's program helped me realize that I was letting things get in the way of intimacy and see how important it is in my marriage versus just having sex because my husband asked me. I am more confident in myself, which allows me to be more intimate with my husband. We cover so much in Sexual Confidence Academy. Just to give you a breakdown of some of the modules that this includes, you get to go through understanding your body, discovering your desire. We cover the menstrual cycle. We help you learn your love language. We talk lube, of course. We talk foreplay, the orgasm, and then most importantly, that sexual communication and self-pleasure piece. The support materials included in this, you get my Creating Your Sex Timeline worksheet, the body mapping handout, my self-pleasure guide, and my self-pleasure meditation, my relationship regroup download for you and your partner to continue this work even after you're done with the program. And my favorite part of this, you get my masterclass for free, which is how to get the sex life that you both crave. All of this is included with your purchase of Sexual Confidence Academy. So head on over to my website, rachelmaine.com. You have a few different options for payment on this. And here's the thing. A couple times a year, I actually run this program live. So definitely pop over to the website ASAP to see if right now is a time that I am enrolling for the live version of this program. Enjoy the rest of this episode. So my very first time using the Yoni Egg, I was home alone. I believe Danny was like gone for the weekend or gone for the day. I'm not sure, but there was no worry of anybody interrupting me. I had some space in my day that I just could dedicate to pleasure, dedicate to fun. So I got the Yoni Egg out. I sat down with this journal. I went over all of the prompts that I just read to you, jotted them down in this journal here. And then I did some eye gazing. I laid on the bed. I had a mirror propped up against the wall, and I watched myself actually insert the Yoni Egg. I wanted to just make this a very connected experience for myself. Again, I was in no rush. I was really taking my time with this. I was really curious. I went in with an open mind. And so I'm laying there on the bed, legs spread, mirror in front of me, and I slowly insert this crystal Yoni Egg, this clear quartz, into my vagina. And I remember just sitting there and laying there actually, and I was like, okay, like, so what is this supposed to do? Am I supposed to be feeling some sort of magic? Is this supposed to feel pleasurable? Like, am I going to orgasm from this? I had, just all of these thoughts, of course, my type A brain going into it. And even though I coach women all of the time to take their time and enjoy the pleasure and explore with their bodies, still in my mind, I was like, okay, when does the orgasm come? What do I got to do to get this orgasm? And really, that's not so much what it's about. And also having the Yoni Egg, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, but it honestly felt, internally, it really just felt same as when I use my Kegel balls, a little bit bigger than the Kegel balls that I use, but essentially the same feeling. So I remember thinking and being proud of myself for, strengthening my pelvic floor and again, setting this time aside for myself. But I was, again, so much focused on the pleasure, the orgasm. I also did this practice. Let's see. So I ordered this thing on a new moon. Maybe it was a full moon. But then the next moon, it was definitely a new moon when I used this for the first time. Because I was like, I'm about to get all this energy up in here. Like, we're about to make some magic. So I remember doing it on a new moon. So almost a month later, I had this thing for a month and just sat there looking at it. And this is your shout out right now. If you're someone that has had a toy in your life, a toy or some sort of sex object that you just have had sitting on your nightstand or sitting in your nightstand, unpacked, tucked away, this is your reminder to get that out. Get it out and start exploring. Okay. You do not buy it for it to sit in your nightstand forever and ever and ever until day's end, right? No, you got it to use. So this is your plug to start using your things. Today is a great day. So even after going through my intention for my first time was really just, I'm going in with an open mind. I'm wanting to just see what this is all about. I'm just wanting to experience. I'm wanting to get comfortable. I'm wanting to orgasm, right? And so that was really my intention. I really didn't set any deep intentions, but I remember having this Yoni egg in. I remember wanting that orgasm. And so then I thought, man, this, what am I'm just laying here. I remember just thinking, I'm kind of bored. I'm just laying here. Oh, sorry, squirrel. There's a hummingbird outside my window. Oh my gosh, this is the second time that I've seen a hummingbird. The universe, you guys, that is my spirit animal. The universe is, I see you, universe. Here I am recording a podcast about Yoni eggs, and the hummingbird crosses across my window. If that is not a sign that I'm in the right direction, God, I love this. All right, so anyway, so I get up, I'm like wanting my orgasm. So I get up, I go downstairs, I grab my vibrator, and then I have my vibrator on my clitoris, and then I start just kind of like pulling on my Yoni egg string to get like some vagina like pulsating action. I'm like doing my hand gestures. I wish you guys could see me. I'm like doing these hand gestures as I'm like pulling. So I get myself to orgasm, which, by the way, amazing orgasm. I'm usually orgasming with just a clitoral toy, not necessarily something inside of me, of course, unless I'm having sex and my husband's penis is inside of me, then I'm orgasming with something inside of me, but not a crystal, not something that has energetic properties, not something that is like literally as smooth as glass, nothing like that. So it was definitely an enjoyable experience, a great orgasm. And then I remember removing this, washing it off, putting it back in its little home. And then I just felt, I don't know, I just felt like at peace is my best way of explaining this. Just at peace. I just felt so zen, so like free, so much lighter, and whatever ended up popping this into my mind. But then I sat down on the floor in front of this mirror and I just did some eye gazing. Eye gazing is something that I do from time to time as part of my daily practice. I just sit in front of the mirror and from my left eye, my physical left eye, into the left eye of my mirror, I just do some eye gazing. We use left eye because that is said to be the connection to your soul. So doing that eye gazing, doing that soul connection. And I just remember just tears coming down my face, not hysterical crying, but it was like happy tears. Like I was smiling, but these tears were just like, my eyes were just welling up with tears and they start streaming down my face. I'm committed to this eye contact. So I'm not trying to change anything. I'm not trying to wipe away my tears, console myself, anything like that. I'm just letting myself feel. I'm letting myself be, which is not something that I do often. Usually I am the fixer, I'm the solution, I'm the problem solver, right? I want to wipe away the tears. I want to, use my shirt to wipe my face or whatever. I want to look away, and I didn't. I stayed in it. I stayed in this eye gazing until those feelings just resolved. And I really think that thinking back to it now, like that was the magic. Like I set this intention for going in with an open mind and just exploring this. And that's likely what my body needed in that moment. It needed that release. It needed to, again, feel those tears, purge those feelings. At the time, I don't really remember, what was going on at this point in my life that maybe some of those tears were coming down. And sometimes that's the thing. I remember doing a mushroom trip one time. I just sobbed uncontrollably, sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, probably for an hour straight. And I couldn't tell you why. I remember Danny consoling me, saying like, is everything okay? What's going on? What's going on? And then I just kept saying, I don't know. But then I just kept repeating myself, I'm going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And he just held me. And it was, again, your body, if you allow yourself to just be, your body is going to do what it needs to do. So then I recently recorded a podcast, which you will hear in a few weeks, with Chelsea Adair. And she is also a sex coach and intimacy coach. And she specifically works with people around their femininity. And I can't wait for you guys to listen to this podcast. It was divine. I'm so pumped. And we talked about Yoni eggs for a bit on there. And at this time, I had not really used it that much aside from this time. And she encouraged me and said, wow, okay, so what would it be like if you just kept your egg in and you didn't remove it until your body let you know that it was time to remove it? See, because at this point I went in just wanting that orgasm. And so once I got the orgasm, then I removed it. I did my eye gazing. I went on with my day. But the way that Chelsea described it to me was having this egg in during your daily practice or during your daily activities. So this was like my moment of like, so I don't just have to do it for a self-pleasure practice. I don't need to just do it for that, because I was certainly going in thinking that for sure. So I wanted to obviously record this podcast because I really do feel like these are two very different ways of going at it. You know, when you are wanting to use something like this journal and you're wanting to do that intention setting and gratitude and meditation around it, I think that is going to serve you in such a helpful way. And on the other hand, wearing this Yoni egg around while you're doing the dishes and folding laundry and just going on with your day, recording a podcast, wink, wink, then that you're going to see that benefit and that effects as well. In the beginning, you heard me say, like, there are definitely benefits to wearing this to strengthen your pelvic floor. So when you are utilizing this just as your daily practice or a few times throughout the week, it's only going to be those added benefits for your sexuality and for your body. One of the practices in this journal that I have here from Vanessa that came with my Yoni egg is actually a birthing exercise. Talk about some deep shit, y'all. She actually walks you through birthing your Yoni egg and just literally bearing down or lying down, whatever feels right for you. But you have some journal prompts that you're going to go through with this. You're setting this intention. You are literally birthing this, whatever this thing that you've set the intention for. This, your Yoni egg, is a symbol of what you are trying to co-create. Not even trying, the thing that you are co-creating. And so this is a very symbolic exercise that you can do with your Yoni egg, to where you are literally birthing this, right? It's like coming out of your vagina, just like you would be birthing a child. And it is again, that symbolism of the thing that you are co-creating, the thing that you are putting into existence, the thing that you are bringing to life. And I love this because, again, there are so many ways that you can use a Yoni egg. And in the beginning, it is a very beginner's practice. Just lying there, in front of the mirror, watching yourself insert this, just being with the egg, to then upgrading to basically a phase 2 of birthing the Yoni egg. Those are both just such beautiful, beautiful experiences that you get to share with yourself. So once you've got past basically these 2 phases, and you have now developed this spiritual connection with your Yoni egg, as we mentioned, again, like using this to strengthen the pelvic floor, you can start to do some weightlifting exercises. So with the Yoni egg inserted inside of you, it's recommended to do this with a drilled Yoni egg. So again, I would recommend going with a drilled, because you can always remove that string if you're not wanting it to be drilled. But in this instance, it is recommended to use it drilled, so with that string on it. But essentially doing these hip swings, right? These hip thrusts, basically back and forth, front and back and forth, front and back, gently swinging your hips from left to right. This is going to create a pendulum effect inside, that the weight is actually attached to your egg. So you can start to notice any sensations that might come up for you. You actually might find it quite arousing, in fact. And so, again, I'm also a component for anything that's going to strengthen my pelvic floor and give me pleasure at the same time. Another reason why I love Kegelen and doing these, pelvic floor exercises. But as you swing your hips, contract your muscles to counteract the gravity. They recommend trying to do this for 15 swings each way and building up to more and more reps over time. You could also do some deep squats with this. Making that wide stance, making sure that your ankles are aligned with your knees and squatting down as deeply as is comfortable for you, sitting in that squat for 30 seconds or more. And when you are in that squat, attempting to clench your Kegels. You could also try to do some hip circles, so standing with your feet about shoulder width apart, slowly rotating your hips from one side to the other for 10 reps, and then the other direction for 10 reps. Try to grip the egg as the weight circles around with each movement. So there are just, again, so many things that you can do. As I said with my crystal wand, even just having it around me or having it on my body, I'm going to still feel the same properties of whatever that crystal is. So if you're getting this and when you get your egg, if you do feel a little bit intimidated by it, by size or anything about it, just start with that. I invite you to start with that. Using it during pleasure, when you're doing whatever sort of pleasure practice that you have now, just having it next to you or on your bed or under your pillow, even, when you're sleeping, try to get sort of acclimated with it from there first. And then when you're ready, I got to this place now, as I said, when Chelsea invited me to start using it as my daily practice, I now try to, as you've heard me talk on this podcast before, I try to meditate. I aim to meditate every single day. I aimed for this, some sort of pleasure practice for myself every single day. And now when I'm doing this meditation, which is just about 10 minutes, sometimes I do a 17-minute one, I'm now inserting my yoni egg when I'm doing that, because that is my sacred time with myself. That is my time of silence. That's my time of connection. That's my time of breath. And so now I've started inserting my yoni egg with this. And I just feel like it's just even, I'm just making this more magical. I find that I'm able to set in with myself easier. I'm able to I'm just able to go deeper. I really can't explain it. I need for you to experience it for yourself, honestly, because it is really something that is kind of undescribable. And again, I invite you definitely to get this. If you get your yoni egg from Shock Rubs, also getting the journal that comes with it. I would say, I believe I paid $59 or maybe $79 for the bundle. I got my yoni egg drilled and this journal here. And I mean, it's pretty intense. It's about a 150-page journal. It's going to give you the prompts. It's going to walk you through all the practices. And at the end, I love this. She gives you a 21-day practice because, of course, 21 days together. 21 days is what makes you form a habit. And so utilizing your yoni egg for 21 days straight as part of your daily ritual is going to only inspire a lasting self-love practice and strengthen your relationship with your egg, and also strengthening your vagina, might I add. So I really do dig this 21-day practice. It gives you a page for each day. It's going to give you an exercise to do for that day, and then also is going to give you space to journal about it after each time. So if you're looking for just a new way of connection with self or a pleasure practice or anything like that, a strengthening practice, I definitely would highly, highly, highly recommend this journal and getting a yoni egg. So again, this was your yoni experience. You can get your yoni eggs and any crystal wands at chockrubs.com. I highly recommend following them on Instagram as well. They are at chockrubs. Would love to maybe have the author of this and the founder of Shock Rubs on the podcast one day. This actually just inspired me to reach out to her. The answer is always no unless you ask. So I'd love to have her come on and talk about sexuality and spirituality and all the things. All right, y'all, if you have any questions about Yoni eggs, let me know. When you go to purchase yours, you're going to have a few different options of what you want your egg to be. So you can get a jade Yoni egg, you get a rose quartz, a clear quartz, a black obsidian, I believe was on there. So there's a few different ones to choose from crystal wise. So it's going to tell you about each of the crystals. So make sure that you pick whichever one really stands out to you, whatever sort of intention you're going with when it comes to your crystal. I chose the clear quartz because clear quartz is associated with all chakras. It's associated with all zodiac signs, all elements. The color energy is white, and it is great for general healing, and it encourages clear thinking and positive perceptions of the world. So because I knew that I'd be using my egg for not only pleasure practices, but also manifestation practices, that is why I ultimately chose the clear quartz. And then I, of course, also have my rose quartz wand near me as I'm doing these practices as well. So hit me up if you have any questions, you guys. When you get your egg, oh my gosh, please take a picture of it and tag me on social media so I can celebrate with you. I'm really, really, really excited to hear what you all think about this and what your experiences are with your Yoni and your Yoni egg.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a thing. And if you loved it so fucking much, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I'll see you next week, and until then, keep owning your sexual self.